Okay, so it's a Saturday. I just wanted to cover something a little bit lighter, I guess. So as a kid, I watched the X Files, and I feel like Mulder's, the lead of the show, his main motto was "I want to believe," and that's kind of what I adopted as well. Like, the universe is huge. There's got to be something out there. Just the vastness of it. I want to believe that there's something out there, but to there's still no real proof of aliens at this point. And a lot of people think that the government are hiding proof of aliens, and maybe they are, maybe they're not. We don't really know. But what would be the government's reason to not show the aliens? At this point, like, just show us the aliens if you have them. And I guess the argument of we can't handle it, like, I just don't buy that. If there was proof of aliens, we would, or whatever, of alien or extraterrestrial life that's been on this planet, we would have seen it by now. That's my general take on it. But I am open. I'm open to it. I could see video, or I could see things with my own eyes that would make me feel differently. But just at this point in 2025, literally everybody has a camera on them, and until I get some real footage of some type of alien, I don't really know what to say. So anyway, there's this whole infrastructure of people that make documentaries and movies, and people will gobble this stuff up. So there's a new documentary out. It's called the Age of Discovery. I believe it's the Age of Discovery. It's an alien movie. It's on Amazon Prime, and you know it looks wild. It looks interesting, and we have all these guys going on all these shows saying, "Hey, we saw this, we saw that." Let me just make sure real quick that I get that name right. The Age of Disclosure. The Age of Disclosure. So right now we're in one of those kicks where the Republicans are like, we need to talk about something other than our own politics. Let's talk about aliens. So there's MAGA Republicans that are pushing for it, and there's some Democrats too. I'm interested too, I guess. But anyway, this guy goes on Joe Rogan here, and these guys are cracking me up. The hopium that they're gonna get aliens is just cracks me up.
We have recovered technology of non-human origin. So have other nations. There is a high-stakes secret Cold War race to reverse engineer this technology. We need to win this race, and the U.S. intends to lead in this new chapter. I think that needs to happen, like a level set of basic facts, and I really do think it will happen.
Well, if that is going to happen, I think Trump might be the only guy that's willing to do something that crazy.
I think.
Oh, hold on. Wait a second, guys. Trump is the only one that's willing to do something. Just like he released the JFK files, just like how he released the Epstein files. Like, he hasn't. I mean, those were campaign promises that he was been talking about that stuff for 4 years, and then once he's president, all of a sudden we don't get any JFK files, do we? We don't get any deep state arrests. We don't get any of that stuff. Donald Trump does not care about aliens. He cares about making money. That's the only thing he's trying to do right now, and stay out of prison.
I think it's very likely that he does that. I know that he is aware of the film. I know he's aware of what people in his administration say.
Has he watched it? You know that?
He has not watched the film, but I know he's very aware of it. And
how do you know he's even aware of it? Like, Donald Trump, like, come on.
I know that
maybe he is the conspiracy theorist in chief, and that's part of the reason why we're here.
They are discussing internally how they're going to react to the film publicly. And I also know that he has very recently tested.
They will not be reacting to the film. Spoiler alert.
Tulsi Gabbard with getting to the bottom of the situation and finding out for him what he needs to know that he doesn't know.
Really?
Yeah. And as Rubio said in the film, Rubio says on camera, on the record, on the film, that this has been kept from sitting presidents.
So apparently they have Rubio in the film. Good old Marco. He's the big star in the film, and whatever he says apparently like rocks the boat.
He goes into detail on how that's been done and how it's the career bureaucrats in certain elements of the government that control this information and just wait presidents out and don't feel like they have a need to know.
Right. Well, there were some people that tried to find information out in the beginning of the Trump administration. Who was it? There was someone that talked about it on record and said he was told at every turn that you don't have the clearance.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Trump actually found out about the base facts in his last presidency and was contemplating stepping to the microphone then.
What base facts?
So Jay Stratton, who ran the task force, he says on camera in my film that he briefed, that Mnuchin, the Secretary of Treasury, asked for a briefing on the lay of the land because Trump asked him to get the briefing, and Trump had already known that the base facts that we're not alone in the universe, that there's been recovery of crashed craft, right? He knew those base facts, and he told Mnuchin that he was thinking about going public. And so Mnuchin reached out to Stratton to get a briefing, and he told Stratton that the reason he wanted the briefing is because he needed to be able to evaluate what the impact would be to the economy if the president decided to step to the mic and tell the world we're not alone. And Stratton tells the story on camera in the film, and I've heard a lot more about it off camera. So we know Trump contemplated doing this already. Now I think the release of this film and Rubio's involvement puts enough on the table that it makes it easier for him to do.
I think they would have to have some sort of a plan in place if they were going to say that, right? Like the amnesty plan, the idea behind it would have to be in place.
Or at least grab control of the situation and say that this is real and the U.S. intends to lead the way. Because the other factor that the White House has to keep in mind is you don't want Xi or Putin being the guy to do that.
Right.
You don't want them to have that moment, right?
Right.
Something I was thinking about when
And something to think about too, like, I don't know, like just the way the American conspiracy media is about this. It's like, well, why doesn't, if our government has recovered aliens, do you think like Russia's government has, or like the UK's government has, or other big government, some government somewhere has aliens too? Like, it's not just us. So the two governments are like colluding.
with regards to that moment of a president stepping to the mic, when we entered the space race, Kennedy gave that big famous speech, right? He was like, we're going to lead in space. Technology, space technology, like nuclear technology, has no conscience of its own. It's up to man to use it for good or bad, and we're going to make sure it's used for the betterment of all mankind, and we're going to lead the way. That was his whole rallying speech, right? And it made the whole scientific community be like, we're going to help the U.S. win, rah, 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 right? I think that's needed in this race. Like, we need all the support of the scientific community, of academia, the kids coming out of MIT. We need them putting their brain power towards this, and I think the White House knows that. It's also that's the greatest TV moment a leader could have in the history of humanity.
How much do you think Elon knows?
Look, I've seen him obviously talk to you about it. I think he knows a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think you get the contracts and the clearances you need to operate in space without some horse trading.
Yeah, when I went to SpaceX, I'm like, motherfucker, you know everything. There's no way you're launching these fucking things into space without them keying you in on exactly what's going on. He's just sly about it.
Well,
he goes, well, if they're all aliens, they're certainly all subtle. That's what he says. Like, well, are they really? I don't know, man.
I think it's impossible to operate in space like he does and not be aware of everything. And also at the level he operates clearance-wise. I held a secret screening at the National Space Symposium earlier this year, which is the Super Bowl of the space industry. It's like 60 people, heavy hitters from the space industry. We didn't promote it or publicize it at all, but there were a dozen guys from SpaceX there, and they all seem very aware of everything revealed in the film.
Yeah, I'm positive.
Yeah,
he's my friend, and he won't tell me.
He's a legend.
He keeps a lid on it.
He's a legend.
But how would he not know if it is? And some people have told me he knows that know he knows some things. So whatever. But the point is, people are good at keeping secrets. That's real.
100%.
Even people that aren't notoriously good at keeping secrets are good at keeping secrets when they have to.
Do you think if you put yourself,
people are not good at keeping secrets? That is not true.
You've interviewed Trump. Do you see him doing that? Stepping to the mic and telling us the truth?
Someone talks to him about it and convinces him it's a great idea. Like if I had an hour with him.
I mean, it's literally the single, in my opinion, the single greatest moment a leader could have.
Well,
in the history of the world.
If he could be the guy that blows the lid off of it, that would definitely help with his legacy too, which I think would be a good way to convince him. And also that the people would be excited about it.
Yeah.
It's just, I think there's probably a lot of forces that we're not totally aware of that would fight very hard to keep this from being revealed. There's a lot of people whose reputations would probably be in jeopardy. A lot of people that may never get trusted again, even if they get amnesty. If there's any evidence of impropriety.
Why would you ever need to be trusted again? You just revealed aliens to the world. You just changed humanity. Why would you care about your clearance or what happens with your position in the government? You just proved that aliens exist. If some guy, anybody out there, if you have a spacecraft or an alien body somewhere, just so you know, it doesn't matter what the government's going to do to you, dude. If you are the guy that gets aliens out, you're a made man for the rest of your life. You're good. Or you might get assassinated. I don't know. Because that's the type of announcement that changes humanity. That would be that's bigger news than the first nuke just went off. Or that World War II just ended. Much bigger news.
Any evidence of embezzlement, which I can't imagine there's not some fucking funny money flying around here and there. And it just, no oversight. Come on, guys. Like, oh, you're above board totally with no oversight at all? And $1 trillion? Fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, I do think I've come to understand that he is borderline enraged at how much has been hidden from the White House. So that alone might motivate him to just step up and
you're just making that up.
issue over time. So
I'll talk to him about it.
Have support. Yeah, you can.
I'll give it a crack. I'll talk to him about it. It's just there's so many other things to talk about.
You get a Nobel Peace Prize for that, Joe.
No, I don't want one of those. I'll never show up. Give it to me. You can have an empty stage.
I think I'm excited to see what happens on the other side of this release, because I think it's gonna awaken the public. I do think they're gonna make a ton of demand on elected leaders and representatives to go take this more.
You're above a Nobel Peace Prize. What a dumb thing to say, man.
Seriously, and it's going to put pressure on the White House. People have never seen someone like Rubio step up and say what he says in the film. The other thing about Rubio, you remember, he's also the national security advisor, and that's never happened in the history of the United States other than Henry Kissinger for 2 years. This guy's in a very powerful position, very influential position, and aware of a lot more than he was even when he
don't care what he said. Show me the aliens or
was on the Senate as a senator.
So you have a channel that's stuck, and you want to.
So yeah, that's Joe Rogan on aliens.
Welcome back to Special Report. Tonight we continue our series looking at
Fox News in on it too. What do you got for me, Brett Baer?
What many people still call UFOs, UAPs. Last week we spoke with the director of the Age of Disclosure. It's a new documentary out about a suspected government cover-up over UAPs for decades, which debuts tonight in select theaters around the country. Is also available on Prime Video. It's powerful. It features testimony from 34 former and current government officials, including witnesses who have testified before Congress. Earlier we spoke with another whistleblower who is now a congressional task force member on the UAP subject.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
What? What does that mean? What biologics? Why are you moving on? Why are you moving on? He didn't answer the question.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human.
Well, let's get some insight into the UAP, or UFO, it used to be called, controversy, and what Congress is trying to do
Non-human. Was it animals?
about it. Joining us now, retired Air Force Major David Grush, who has been a whistleblower on the subject of UFOs, UAPs, and government transparency. He's a special advisor now to the House UAP Task Force. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me on, Brett.
So since then, people say, where's the evidence? What's happening? Why don't we know more right now, almost 2 years later?
Well, certainly the last administration didn't help, and my hearing, of course, was during the last administration, and they were not exactly super transparent on this issue, unfortunately. But now that the
It's been a year since the last administration.
task force has been created, I've been able to, guide the members within the boundaries of what they're actually cleared for.
When people look at this, they look online, they say, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of people talking about encounters. There's a lot of people talking about videos, and we've seen a lot of that. Can we just cut it down to, you believe that we have encountered alien beings and that they've come to Earth and that we know about it as a U.S. government?
That seems to be the case. I don't like to characterize necessarily where they came from. They're definitely some kind of non-human sentience, but it is true, believe it or not, we've recovered the vehicles, and we actually have physical proof, and I was actually partially cleared into some of those activities. It was beyond oral testimony provided to me. I actually had partial access to the data and actually read the intelligence reports resulting from those programs.
Like with your own
Bullshit. You read nothing. You read nothing. If you can't show it to us, you didn't read shit.
own eyes,
Correct.
you saw it.
Yes.
And so when people say this is kooky, this is out there, there's nothing to back it up.
I don't speak for other parts of the government, but I can tell you NASA, which I speak for, is open and transparent with our data.
Do you believe what Mr. David Grush said, or is he lying?
Whatever he said, where's the evidence?
What do you say?
Certainly members of this current administration are very, very well aware of this reality. Certainly the current president is very knowledgeable on this subject, and I trust his leadership on it. And I think he's assembled an A-team cabinet, and I really believe if Trump wants to be the greatest president and the most consequential leader, likely in world history, he certainly has the knowledge, the capabilities, and understanding of some of these sensitive government transparency issues.
I have access, and I speak to people about it. I've had actually meetings on it. People that are very smart and very solid have said they believe there is something out there. And, it makes sense that there could be. I've never been convinced, even despite that. I just, for some reason, it's not my thing.
So you think, one, he knows, and two, he's open to transparency on UAPs?
He certainly is very well informed on this issue. Leave it at that. I don't want to get ahead of what the president might want to reveal personally.
There's been a role to cover this up, you're saying, through administrations. And there have been people who have been threatened and told not to testify?
I was physically threatened even before I sent in my Intelligence Community Inspector General report under the previous administration. I actually had to go and seek legal protection that way because I was, literally in fear both professionally and in my personal life.
And when you mentioned in
No, you weren't.
that testimony of recovering the pilots or remains,
This guy just how does Fox News allow this guy to come on here and just say a bunch of unsubstantiated shit?
Non-human. That's something that you saw as far as the intelligence with your eyes?
Yes. And it is a very uncomfortable, even for me now, as somebody who's seen it, experienced it, even talking about it, because it's so outside a normal person's worldview to understand that there is this biological sentience that have piloted these crafts that don't necessarily look 100% like you and I.
Were there pictures? Were there?
There were. Yes, there were.
When I said from another planet or from outer space, you said we don't know where they're from. Is it interdimensional? What are we talking about?
I've talked to a lot of, I'll call graybeards on the program. That is a subject of hot debate on origin. As a guy trained in physics formally as well in my background, I leave an open mind on what the origin is. Certainly, there is the extraterrestrial hypothesis, and they could be coming from elsewhere off Earth, but I don't usually go there because I did not see that data, and I'm not conversant in the high confidence theories that the U.S. government had.
I'm not aware of any remains that the department has of any signs of extraterrestrial beings or activity or technology.
You say the U.S. government knows, but there are many other governments around the world. Do they know?
They have their own programs, and like I said 2.5 years ago, we have been in arms race with our peer competitors, namely Russia and China, and they have their own programs in this regard. And I was actually able to view a body of intelligence that discussed adversarial programs, and I'll leave it at that.
We've recovered things, you say, bodies and physical remains. Was there a sense that the motive of how they got here, what they were doing, was it peaceful, not peaceful?
We've seen a mixed bag of activity, and motive and intent, why they're visiting. That's once again that gets into our assessments. Not necessarily, we can't quite understand the intent of some of the sentients and why they're visiting. Could it be because we have interesting genetic material on Earth? We're a Jurassic Park tourist attraction for them. Could be a myriad of reasons.
For the other people who are coming out, you say to them what? You've obviously faced intimidation. You talked about harassment. There are reports that others have too.
I say that there's hope. Certainly, Congress values whistleblower information right now, and certainly, I believe there's an appetite with the administration to do the right thing on this as well. And there's some other things that are happening behind the scenes that I'll let the administration discuss when they're ready.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time, and we'll follow every element.
No evidence. The guy went on Fox News, and that was cut. That video was cut. So, it was longer than that they talked. Dude showed up with zero evidence. We're at the point where you can't just be rolling up with just your words and saying that you saw something or you heard something. We have to have evidence at this point, and it can't be some grainy black and white bullshit.
If you've been watching the show for some time, you'll know how just extensively we cover all things UFO, or UAP as the government now calls it. This show was the first to interview whistleblower David Grush, and he was a former Air Force officer who came forward to claim that the government had secretly recovered alien technology. That was 2 years ago. And now what was then crazy has become something of a unifying topic for lawmakers from both sides of the aisle, to the point where a brand new documentary is being released today about all things UAP, and it's all featuring officials from the very highest levels of the U.S. government. The documentary is called The Age of Disclosure, and it tells the story of an 80-year global cover-up concealing the existence of intelligent alien life and technology. Tonight, we bring you an exclusive clip.
We learned that the U.S. government was involved in a long-running secret war with other nations to collect and reverse engineer vehicles not made by humans.
Some people claim it would cost them their lives if they spoke out about these things.
The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come. This is similar to the Manhattan Project. This is the atomic weapon on steroids.
If Xi Jinping had access to this, if Putin had access, you think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
Sometimes strategic surprises that change the course of human history.
This movie?
Dan Farah is the documentary's director.
Are you saying that this movie is going to change the course of human history? Okay, so this movie, The Age of Disclosure, guys, just so you know, it's on Amazon Prime. You're welcome. And it's $20. It's $20. You need to pay $20 to watch this movie, and apparently it's only on there for a limited time. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, like, you like have proof of like alien life or whatever, and you just make a movie in secret, in silence? Like I didn't hear about them making this movie, and you got to pay $20 to see if they have evidence of aliens. Now, if the movie's been out for a while, I don't know how long. If they had evidence of aliens, everybody would be talking about it. We wouldn't have to watch the movie.
And producer, and he joins
God, that reporter, I mean, this anchor, this news anchor, man, she just reported that with absolute seriousness.
me now. All right, Dan, I was up way too late watching this entire thing because I literally couldn't stop. Congratulations. It's fantastic. I was struck by this line from one of the people you interviewed. Without a doubt, there has never been a program before that has been so successfully kept out of the public eye as the Legacy Crash Retrieval Program. What is it?
One of the intelligence officials in the film makes that statement. And, you know, previously the most secret program was the Manhattan Project, but we found out in hindsight that the Manhattan Project had leaks. So when this program was created, they made it even more secretive and put more security measures in place. And those security measures have ruled the day the last 80 years.
The Legacy Crash Retrieval Program is something that the Air Force does for the most part. They have special units that go out to collect, to retrieve alien spacecraft that have crashed.
Well, the people in my film reveal that the elements of this program are elements of the Air Force, elements of the CIA, elements of the Department of Energy, and military defense contractors.
All right, for decades, they've had these units that go out, and we're not the only ones with these units that are going out to retrieve
this ridiculous
stuff.
video.
Russia and China are too. That's the other amazing thing that you reveal in the film, which is
this video. I remember they're like, yeah, this is aliens right here. Nothing acts like that, and it looks like it's like missile testing or something like that. That's, you know.
Is that we're in a secret arms race.
Yeah, it's arguably the most shocking of the reveals that there is this high-stakes secret Cold War race to reverse engineer technology of non-human origin that the United States is involved in with adversarial nations like China and Russia.
We think China and Russia both have retrieved alien spacecraft as well.
That's what the officials in my film.
And for some reason, China and Russia they're not saying anything about aliens either.
Go on the record stating.
They go on the record, in fact, saying that what in 1989, we think the Soviets retrieved a tic-tac shaped spacecraft that had crashed.
which was significantly larger than the Tic Tac encountered by the Nimitz carrier strike group, and Commander Dave Fravor, who pursued it.
You also have two different astrophysicists in the documentary who say that the government has retrieved at least 2 different alien species, and that one of them made contact with the crash retrieval team. What does that mean? Does that mean it was alive when they captured it?
One of the intelligence officials in the film speaks about an event that happened on a U.S. military base where 2 UAP approached the base. One of them landed, and apparently non-human beings exited the craft and interacted with members of the Air Force and the CIA. Now, here's the thing: these all sound like extraordinary claims that are hard for people to wrap their head around, right?
Yeah.
But these are 34. In my film, there's 34 extremely high-level military, government intelligence officials, people who have been trusted with very high-level security clearances, people who have been involved in, keeping this nation safe in many different ways, and people who we trust in a lot of scenarios. And these interview subjects range from our Secretary of State to sitting senators to former, Director of National Intelligence, a former Secretary of Defense, leaders from the Pentagon, leaders from the CIA, leaders from the Air Force, leaders from the Navy. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's really hard to ignore what these people are saying.
It's really hard to say this is one kooky person doing this when you have this much experience in every level and every branch of government all coming together on camera to say, not only have we retrieved alien spacecraft, we've retrieved alien remains.
Yeah, and keep in mind, these are people that are not aligned at all ideologically or politically, right? But they're aligned on this. So it's 34 senior officials sharing one truth.
This was something that I did not know, was that during the second Bush presidency, Bush 2, they actually contemplated, they convened a cabinet meeting and debated and discussed for days about whether or not to finally go public with this program, with what they have found and what they have discovered.
So Bush 2 had learned the base facts that we're not alone in the universe and that there have been recoveries of technology of non-human origin. And he was contemplating whether to share that with the world during his presidency. And he put together a think tank. One of the officials in my film was part of that think tank, and he goes on the record about it. They were asked to analyze the impact to various aspects of our society, from religion to the economy, and they all went into it bullish on the idea of disclosure, and after evaluating it, they all decided it was a bad idea.
Why?
For various reasons, just the impact, the place we were as a country following 9/11, they just didn't think it was a good idea. They thought that we weren't ready for it, right? The film also reveals that in Trump's first administration, he contemplated going public in a similar way. One of the officials in my film, high-level intelligence official, goes on record saying that Secretary Mnuchin reached out to him and asked him for a high-level briefing on this topic because he wanted to know what the economic repercussions might be.
No, I love that part of it because he says, do you want to know why I'm asking you? And he's like, why? He said, because I need to figure out what's going to happen to our economy if we come out as a government and say,
how do we like prove or disprove that? I'm sure Donald Trump at one point was like, hey, you know, you believe in aliens? Like, what does contemplate disclosure? Like, are there like documents? I would need documents, first of all. I would need documents, first of all. But either way, like them trying to figure out what disclosure means is not the same as picture of an alien or piece of an alien or piece of a UFO of an alien ship. Do they have any of that stuff?
aliens exist, aliens are here, and we have them.
Yeah. And obviously they made the same decision Bush 2 did, which was to not go public, right? To keep it internal to the people who know.
There was one part of the documentary I wanted more information on. You interview a former military analyst who said that he and others who had interactions with the UAPs are now suffering physical effects. What interactions did they have?
Yeah, so one of the, to be honest, not so shocking reveals is that intelligence officials who have had encounters with UAP end up having biological effects. And I say not surprising because this is technology that we don't understand fully, that is emitting a lot of energy. And in the same way that if you stand behind the back of a,
so he came close
fighter
to
jet, you're going to get hurt.
He came close to one of these.
Yeah, came close to multiple UAP and ended up having biological effects.
And yet, because so much of this information is classified, none of them can go on camera and say.
Who says that? Who says biological effects about anything? And now I can already see where she's saying. She's going to say something about it's classified, so they can't say anything. Dude, if you got blasted by an alien warship, get out there and talk about it right now. Get on every podcast and make millions of dollars.
What they saw specifically.
Yeah, not specifically. So look, the reality of it is, for 80 years, all of this has been kept from the public, Congress, and even sitting presidents. And I think that really changes today when this movie comes out and the public learns the truth finally. And my hope is it sets the stage for the president finally stepping up and telling the world the base facts, that we're not alone in the universe and what he knows is going on.
At the very least, he'll convene maybe a cabinet meeting in which then they'll all say, no, would it be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the world is more prepared for this.
I think we're ready for it. I think the people can handle the truth.
Okay, last question. You point out in the documentary, I found this very, very intriguing, but you point out that we as humans have only mapped about 27% of Earth's oceans. We know more about the surface of the moon and the surface of Mars than we do about our own oceans. Yeah. And you have several of these astrophysicists and intelligence officials saying, you know what? It's possible these objects, these UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them, aren't coming from outer space. They might be coming from the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, look, moreover, we have senior members of the House Intelligence Committee going on the record saying that the craft seen coming out of the ocean are otherworldly things. They straight up say on camera, these are not rockets, they're not aircraft.
They're moving at hundreds of miles an hour underwater.
They're otherworldly things.
What crafts? What crafts are you talking about? There's no crafts coming from the ocean. If there are, show me. And show me where it's coming from.
Conceivable.
Defying physics as we know it. And then
where is it going? Does it like go back? Like when it leaves its ocean layer, does it go back after it flies around for a while?
Retired Admiral Gallaudet, who was the chief oceanographer of the United States Navy, he is the one who states, that fact you just shared, and that he makes the point of if you were an intelligent species from somewhere else and you wanted to hide from humanity, the most obvious place would be our oceans.
Right, that's where you got to hide. Wow, it's a fascinating documentary. It's on Amazon Prime Video starting tonight. It's also in theaters. Dan, congratulations. It's called The Age.
It's in theaters? Oh, man. The grift is strong. If you pay $20 to watch this, you're not a smart person. Even if you have money is not an issue at all. And you pay $20 for this crap. Like, this is ridiculous. Whatever. If it's fun I don't know, like, is it fun for them? This whole thing is just, they just have fun, just hoping that there's aliens and talking about non-evidence. If anybody's watching me right now and they watch the movie and they see some aliens, please post it. Send it straight to me. I want to see it. I want to see aliens, damn it. We're almost there. Newsnation is on the case. Marco Rubio on the case. Donald Trump, just like the Epstein files, on the case.